You are not broke in America. You are being slowly shaped by a system that profits every time you struggle to breathe financially. And the most dangerous part is, it all feels completely normal. Right now, you are John Miller. You live in Chicago, in a small apartment where the rent has gone up again, even though nothing in your life feels like it has improved. Every morning, you wake up to the same sound, your phone buzzing with notifications you don't want to open. Credit card alerts, bank reminders, a student loan balance that never seems to move no matter how many payments you make. You sit on the edge of your bed for a moment, staring at the wall, thinking about how hard you work and how little of it actually feels like yours. Outside, the city is already moving. Chicago doesn't wait for anyone. People rush through trains, coffee shops, office buildings, all pretending they are not thinking about money. But they are. Everyone is. You grab your jacket and head out. On the way, you pass a billboard advertising a credit card offer. 0% interest for 12 months. It looks harmless, almost helpful, like a lifeline. But you don't realize that lifeline is the beginning of something you might not escape easily. At work, Sarah Johnson is already there. She smiles like everything is fine. She always does. But you've heard her phone buzz during meetings too. You've seen her glance at loan apps when she thinks no one is watching. In America, nobody says they are drowning. They just learn how to look like they are swimming. Lunch break comes, and you sit with your coworkers. The conversation is light on the surface, weekend plans, sports, small talk. But underneath every sentence is something unspoken. Rent is too high. Gas is too expensive. Groceries feel different than they used to. Nobody says the word debt directly, but it sits in the room with all of you anyway. Then your phone vibrates again. A notification from your bank. Minimum payment due. You already paid last month. You already paid the month before that. But somehow, the balance hasn't moved the way you expected it to. You open the app, and there it is. The number staring back at you, unchanged in the way that matters. Interest quietly eating away at every payment you made. You tell yourself it's temporary, that everyone goes through this, that once you get a raise, once things stabilize, once life settles down, you'll finally get ahead. But deep down, something feels off. Because no matter how many people you talk to in New York, Los Angeles, Texas, or here in Chicago, the story is always the same in different words. Work more, earn more, owe more, repeat. And you don't realize it yet, but your financial life didn't start when you got your job. It started the moment you entered a system where borrowing money is easier than escaping it. That night, when you get home, you sit in silence. The apartment feels smaller than it did in the morning. Your phone lights up again, another offer, another loan option, another opportunity to get ahead. And for a second, just a second, you wonder if this is what life is supposed to feel like in America. Then you shake the thought away. Because tomorrow, you still have to wake up and go to work. And the system doesn't stop for anyone. The next morning feels the same, but something inside you doesn't. You are still John Miller in Chicago, still walking the same streets, still clocking into the same job. But now every small thing feels louder. The coffee you buy feels like it costs more than it should. The rent notice you ignored last month suddenly feels closer. Even your paycheck, the thing you used to wait for, now feels like it disappears too fast to matter. At work, Sarah Johnson sits next to you again. She opens her laptop, but instead of work, she quietly checks her credit score app. She tilts the screen slightly away from others, like it's something private, almost personal. In America, your credit score isn't just a number. It feels like a judgment, a silent rating of your entire life. She notices you looking and quickly switches tabs. Everything okay? You ask. She nods too fast. Yeah, just bills. But you know that tone. It's not just bills. It's the kind of financial stress people learn to hide so they can keep functioning. Later that afternoon, your manager talks about financial responsibility in a meeting. Retirement plans, health insurance deductions, long-term stability, he says. But all you can think about is short-term survival. Because your stability already feels borrowed. After work, you stop at a bank branch in downtown Chicago. You didn't plan to go in. You just needed answers. Your credit card interest increased again, and you don't understand why. Inside, everything is quiet. Too clean. Too calm. Like nothing stressful has ever happened here. A banker greets you with a smile that feels rehearsed. How can I help you today? You explain your situation. Minimum payments. Rising interest. Balance that doesn't go down. She nods politely and turns the screen toward you. This is normal, she says. You're mostly paying interest right now? That's how revolving credit works. Revolving credit. The phrase sounds harmless. Almost technical. But what it really means, you're paying for money you already spent, while the system slowly decides how much of your future income it will take. She continues, if you want to reduce interest pressure, you might consider a personal consolidation loan. Lower monthly payments. Easier management. You hear the word easier and latch onto it. Because everything has felt hard for too long. You sign nothing today, but you leave with something heavier than paper. A thought. Maybe borrowing again is the only way to fix borrowing. That night, you sit at home scrolling on your phone. Ads now feel different. You start noticing them more. Pre-approved loan. Instant cash approval. Build your credit score faster. Every message feels like it is speaking directly to you. Like the system knows exactly where you are struggling and knows how to offer relief in the same breath it creates pressure. And slowly, something starts to become clear. In America, money doesn't just come from working. It comes from borrowing. And borrowing doesn't just help you live. It keeps you inside the cycle. The more you rely on credit, the more important your credit score becomes. The more important your credit score becomes, the more careful you are with every decision. And the more careful you are, the more control the system quietly gains over your choices. You lean back in your chair. For the first time, you don't feel like you're just managing your life. You feel like you're being managed. And somewhere in the distance of your thoughts, you start to realize something uncomfortable. The system doesn't need to trap you with force. It just needs to make borrowing feel like normal life. The idea doesn't leave your mind after that night. You are still John Miller in Chicago, still going to work, still answering emails, still acting normal. But something has shifted in the way you see everything around you. Because now you notice the pattern you never paid attention to before. Everywhere in America, money is not just earned, it is moved, borrowed, and reshaped through systems you were never really taught to understand. At lunch, Sarah Johnson looks more tired than usual. She pushes her food around on the plate without really eating. Her phone lights up again, a bank notification. She turns it face down immediately. But you already saw it. Another balance increase. Another minimum payment adjustment. She laughs quietly, trying to hide it. It's fine. I'll handle it. But her voice doesn't sound like someone handling it. It sounds like someone adapting to it. After work, you don't go straight home. You walk through downtown Chicago, past glass buildings reflecting the sunset. Inside those buildings are banks, investment firms, loan departments, places where money is not just stored, but multiplied. And for the first time, you start to wonder something you never asked before. Where does the profit come from? Because you're paying interest, but someone is collecting it. You stop outside a bank again. This time, you don't go in. You just stand there looking through the glass. People inside are calm, controlled. They are not stressed. They are not checking their balance every hour. They are working inside the system, not struggling under it. And suddenly, a realization starts forming in your mind, slow, uncomfortable, unavoidable. In America, banks don't just lend money. They create a structure where debt becomes predictable income. Your credit card balance is not a problem for them. It is a timeline of payments. Your minimum payment is not relief for you. It is profit stability for them. And the interest you struggle to understand is the mechanism that quietly keeps everything moving upward away from you. That night, you sit in your apartment longer than usual. The silence feels heavier now. Even your phone feels different in your hand. You open your banking app again, not because you need to, but because you can't stop yourself from checking. Balance, interest, due date, same information, but now it feels like it is watching you back. A new notification appears. You may be eligible for a credit limit increase. You stare at it. At first, it feels like progress, like trust, like growth. But then you realize something strange. Why would the system give you more power when you are already struggling to manage what you have? And that's when the thought hits harder than before. Maybe it's not about helping you spend. Maybe it's about increasing how much you can owe. The more you can owe, the more you can participate. The more you participate, the more the system earns. You lean forward, elbows on your knees, staring at the floor. It doesn't feel like a scam. It doesn't feel illegal. It doesn't feel obvious. It feels structured, designed, normal. And that is what makes it worse. Because nothing is forcing you. You are choosing it. Or at least it feels like you are. And somewhere deep inside that realization, a quiet discomfort grows. Not panic, not fear, something colder, understanding. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And now you start to wonder how many people around you in New York, Los Angeles, Texas, are living inside the same invisible loop, thinking they are just managing life, while actually keeping a machine running. And for the first time, you don't feel like an individual struggling with money anymore. You feel like a small part of something much larger and much harder to step out of. That night in Chicago feels different. The city outside your window is still alive. Cars moving, lights blinking, people chasing lives they believe they control. But inside your apartment, something has gone quiet in a way that feels heavier than noise. You are John Miller, and for the first time, you stop thinking about money like it is just personal stress. You start thinking about it like a system. Your phone lights up again. Another notification. Another reminder. Another offer. But you don't open it immediately this time. You just stare at it, like you're studying something you were never meant to question. Because now you understand the rhythm. Earn, spend, borrow, repay, repeat. Not as chaos.as structure. The next morning, you go to work in downtown Chicago like always. Sarah Johnson is already there. She looks more tired than yesterday, but still smiling when people pass by. That kind of smile that doesn't mean happiness, it means survival. During a break, she finally speaks quietly. Do you ever feel like you're working all the time, but never actually moving forward? You pause. Because the honest answer is yes. But saying it out loud feels dangerous in a way you can't explain. Instead, you say, yeah, sometimes. She nods like she already knew the answer. I keep thinking I'll catch up, she says. One day, everything will balance out. But you both know, nothing in the system is designed to naturally balance in your favor. Later that week, you receive something that feels like progress. A pre-approved personal loan offer. Lower interest than your credit card. One fixed monthly payment. Simplify your financial life, it says. And for a moment, it feels like relief. Like a door opening. But something inside you hesitates now. Because you recognize the pattern more clearly than before. Every time you feel pressure, the system offers a release. But the release always comes with structure. And the structure always comes with repayment. You sit at your kitchen table in silence. And you realize something simple, but heavy. Debt is not just money you owe. It is time you lose before you even live it. Future hours of your life, already assigned value. Already spoken for. And the more you rely on it, the more your future becomes pre-sold. You think back to everything now. The credit cards. The minimum payments. The interest cycles. The loan offers. The credit score watching your behavior like a silent judge. And suddenly it all connects into something you can finally see clearly. In America, financial freedom doesn't disappear all at once. It gets fragmented. Small decisions. Small approvals. Small dependencies. Until one day, you realize most of your income is not yours to decide anymore. It is distributed before you even receive it. Rent, debt, bills, interest, subscriptions. Each one harmless alone. Together, a map of control. You lean back in your chair and look around your apartment. Nothing has changed physically, but everything feels different. Because now you understand the truth that most people never fully name. The system doesn't need to trap you with force. It only needs to normalize participation. And once you are inside long enough, stepping out feels like losing access to life itself. The screen of your phone turns off. Your reflection appears in the black glass. And for a moment, you don't see just John Miller anymore. You see someone who finally understands the rules of the world he lives in, not because he escaped it, but because he saw it clearly for the first time. And in that silence, the most unsettling thought arrives. If everyone is playing the same game, then maybe no one ever really chose the rules at all. The screen stays dark, and the city keeps moving.